We're diving into the crazy world of the 1965 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Why is it so valuable? What makes it special? And how can you find one without turning your house upside down? Stick around, because I'm about to spill all the tea and share a hilarious story about how I thought I found one. Spoiler alert, it did not go how I expected. So first up, what's the deal with this 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? Well, back in 1965, the U.S. Mint was transitioning from silver coins to clad coins due to rising silver prices. To cut down on coin collecting, which was messing up coin circulation, they also decided to stop using mint marks for a few years. That's why your 1965 penny has no little letter under the date, no D, no S, nothing. Now here's where it gets juicy. Most 1965 pennies are worth, well, not much more than face value unless they're in perfect mint state condition, but there are rumors and collector stories floating around about a rare version of this coin struck on a silver planchet or with striking errors that have sold for astronomical amounts. How astronomical, you ask? Try $5 million. Yeah, the kind of cash that makes your grandma faint. And these aren't just bedtime stories. One of these pennies was supposedly sold through a private auction and now sits locked away in some collector's vault, probably next to a Batman comic and a rare Beanie Baby. So what makes this coin worth a small fortune? It's all about rarity, condition, and a little sprinkle of luck. If your 1965 penny was struck on a leftover silver dime planchet, for example, it would look slightly different. It might weigh less, it might have a shiny silvery color, and boom, just like that, you've got yourself a super rare coin. But even without a silver planchet, error coins in top condition like MS-67 and above can still bring in serious money. We're talking hundreds or thousands of dollars. Now let me tell you a quick story. A while back I was cleaning out my junk drawer looking for batteries, you know, the one with loose screws, expired coupons, and at least 3 rubber bands that have turned into fossils. And guess what? I found a 1965 penny. My heart stopped. I literally froze like I was in a movie. I grabbed my magnifying glass like Sherlock Holmes in pajama pants and examined that sucker under the light. No mint mark. Check good condition. Check silver color. Not so much. Turns out I had just found a really clean regular penny worth about 3 cents on a good day if I squinted hard enough, but it was still exciting. That moment of maybe, just maybe, is what makes coin hunting so fun. So what's the takeaway here? Check your change. Pay attention to those dates, especially those unassuming pennies from the 60s that most people overlook. If you think you found something special, compare it to known error examples, get it weighed, and if it looks promising, take it to a coin grading service or a trusted local dealer. You never know, that boring looking penny in your desk drawer could turn into a $5 million surprise. And hey, even if it's not a jackpot coin, it's still a great hobby that can actually make you some decent cash with the right knowledge and a little patience. If you like this video and want more tips on coins worth money, stories from the trenches, and simple strategies to turn pocket change into profit, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell like it owes you money. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that made you do a double take, or if your grandma has a coffee can full of old coins hiding in her attic. You might just inspire our next video. Thanks for watching. And remember, every coin has a story. Maybe yours is worth $5 million. I'm talking about a penny, a 1-cent coin, but not just any penny. I'm talking about the 1967 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's been making some serious noise in the coin collecting world. Believe it or not, one of these babies is currently valued at over $7 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $7 million. For a coin that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the sidewalk. So before you go dumping your spare change into the nearest Coinstar machine, hang tight. I'm going to tell you why this penny is so special, how to spot one, and how I once almost gave one away with a pack of gum. No joke, So what makes the 1967 Lincoln penny so special? Well, for starters, it doesn't have a mint mark. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that normal for a 1967 penny? Yes, but also no. See, in 1965, the U.S. Mint decided to stop putting mint marks on coins to fight coin hoarding.
No, seriously.
People were hoarding coins like they were Beanie Babies in the 90s. So from 1965 to 1967, pennies didn't have mint marks. But here's the twist. Some of these 1967 pennies were made using experimental dies or struck with rare errors that were never meant to get out to the public. And those are the ones worth millions. Imagine finding one of these bad boys under your couch cushions. That's like turning over a couch pillow and finding a winning lottery ticket, minus the glitter and confetti. Now, let's talk about condition. If your 1967 penny looks like it went through a blender, you're probably not holding a treasure. But if it's in pristine condition, has some unusual features like a double die or off-center strike, and no mint mark, you might be holding a coin that collectors would sell their entire Funko Pop collection to own. Okay, real talk. Let me tell you a story that still haunts me. A few years back, I was at this neighborhood garage sale. You know, the kind where you buy a toaster with no cord for $1 and pretend you're gonna fix it. Anyway, I bought an old jar of coins from this nice lady named Barb. I took it home and started going through it, just casually, while watching reruns of Judge Judy. All of a sudden, I saw this shiny 1967 penny staring back at me like it knew something I didn't. I looked it up, saw people talking about rare 1967 pennies, and I thought, well, maybe I just hit the jackpot. Then I did something I'll regret forever. I used that penny as part of exact change at a gas station. For gum. Freaking gum. The worst part? It was wintergreen. I don't even like wintergreen. Fast forward 2 weeks. I'm watching a coin collector's video and he shows a 1967 penny that looks exactly like the one I had. He goes, "This one sold for $6 million. I dropped my phone. I almost cried. Then I definitely cried. In the car. At the gas station. Moral of the story? Always double check your pennies. My friend .tips. So if you want to know whether you've got the magic 1967 penny, here's what to look for. First, no mint mark. That part's normal for 67, but it's your starting point. Second, check for mint errors. That includes doubling, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, or any weird bumps and lines that aren't supposed to be there. Third, condition matters. The shinier and cleaner, the better. You want it looking like it just came out of a time capsule. And finally, get it appraised. Find a reputable coin dealer or send it in to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Don't take it to your cousin Dave who thinks he knows coins because he once found a Canadian nickel dust. So, if you're one of those people who has a jar of old coins collecting dust somewhere in your house, maybe on top of the fridge or under the bed, do yourself a favor and check it. Because that dusty little penny might just be your retirement plan in disguise. And hey, if this video just saved you from spending a $7 million coin on gum, then I've done my job. If you want more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and real talk from someone who's made both genius moves and dumb mistakes, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out. Because trust me, your next $1 million coin might already be in your pocket. We're talking about the 1970 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and let me tell you, this little copper guy is causing quite the stir in the coin worlds. So if you've ever scoffed at a penny on the ground thinking it's not worth your time, you might want to start picking em up again. Alright, let's break it down. The 1970 Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark right under the date, and on the surface it looks just like any other penny, but oh no, there's something special going on. Here now, most of these pennies are worth face value unless they're in top condition, but there are some rare errors that make this bad boy worth a fortune. One specific variety of the 1970 penny was struck over a 1941 Canadian cent. That's right, a penny on top of another penny, 2 countries, 1 coin. Sounds like the plot of a buddy comedy right now. Here's where it gets juicy. One of these rare error coins sold for over $1 million at auction. I know what you're thinking, how do I get one of those without robbing a museum? Let me tell you what to look for. If your 1970 penny looks off like it has weird doubling or strange impressions, maybe even signs of another design underneath, you might have hit the jackpot. You're looking for things like double dies, unusual thickness, or even partial impressions of a totally different coin. So how do you find out if your penny is worth $1 million? First thing, grab a magnifying glass. Or if you're like me and still squinting even with your glasses, just zoom in on your phone camera like a coin detective. You want to examine the lettering, the date, and especially the mint mark. If things look fuzzy, off-centered, or doubled, don't panic. That's actually a good thing in this case. Errors are your new best friend. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. You know where this is going, right? We found an old cookie tin full of random coins, mostly pennies, nickels, and lots of lint. I almost tossed it out, thinking it was all junk, but something told me to take a second look. Fast forward, I sold one of the wheat pennies in there for a couple $100, not quite $1 million, but it covered a month of gas and takeout, which is basically the same thing these days. Moral of the story, never underestimate the power of grandma's attic or your old sock drawer. So yeah, this 1970 penny is no joke. The error variety is extremely rare, but it's real and it's worth big money. That's why collectors go bananas for this stuff and why people like us with normal everyday change in our pockets have a real shot at striking it rich. Now, before you go diving into your couch cushions or interrogating your piggy bank, let me say this. If you've got a 1970 penny, take a good look at it. If it looks a little weird or suspicious, in the best way possible, get it checked out by a professional coin grader. You could be sitting on a mini treasure chest without even knowing it. And if you learned something new today, or maybe got a Little inspired to raid your junk drawer? Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I share all kinds of tips, tricks, and stories about coins that are secretly worth money, and trust me, once you start looking you won't stop. You'll be that person staring at pennies in the checkout line or checking every coin like it's a scratch-off ticket, so tap that bell icon too, so you don't miss out on the next big coin you might already own. Alright, that's it for today. Happy hunting, my fellow treasure seekers. May your pennies be rare and your findings be fabulous. We're diving into the world of the 1975 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a tiny copper coin that could be worth more than your car, your house, and probably your neighbor's house too. Let's talk about how this little piece of metal is making millionaires, and why you might want to check your piggy bank like right now. Alright, first things first, let's talk about this coin. What makes the 1975 no-mint mark penny so special? Well, the no-mint mark simply means it was made in Philadelphia back in the day. Philly didn't bother stamping a mint mark on their pennies, so most of the ones from 1975 don't have any letter under the date. That's totally normal, but here's the thing, not all 1975 no-mint mark pennies are created equal. There's one out there, one super rare penny that's so perfectly struck, so pristine, so flawless, that collectors are willing to shell out a jaw-dropping $5 million for it. And no, I'm not joking, someone might actually buy your penny instead of a Ferrari. Now you're probably wondering, what does it look like? How do I know if I have the golden goose of pennies? Here's what to check: smooth, shiny surface, no major scratches, sharp details, especially on Lincoln's face, and the word Liberty no mint mark under the date, which again is normal for Philly, but still key extra points if it's in uncirculated or proof condition. You know, the kind of penny that's been sitting untouched in your grandma's drawer since she told you not to spend it on candy. Now, I know what you're thinking, who the heck pays millions for a penny? Well, collectors are a special breed. They'll pay top dollar for something rare, unique, and in perfect condition, kind of like that one sock you always lose in the laundry. It becomes priceless when it's the only one left. So here's a little story. When I was about 10, I used to save all my change in a big plastic pretzel jar. Yeah, classy. I know. One day I dumped the whole thing on the floor looking for quarters to buy ice cream, and out popped this shiny 1975 penny. I almost ignored it, but for some reason I kept it. Didn't know why. Maybe it was fate. Fast forward to last year, I got into coin collecting again, and guess what? That same penny was still in my stash. Sadly, it wasn't the $5 million one, but it did fetch me a cool 30 bucks. Not bad for something that almost ended up inside a gumball machine. Moral of the story: check your old coins. You never know when you're one dusty penny away from quitting your day job. Oh, and fun fact, the average 1975 no mint mark penny is worth about 1 to 3 cents if it's been used and abused, but in pristine condition it can go from a few dollars to several hundred. And of course, that legendary rare version sits proudly on the $5 million throne. I mean, imagine that, finding a penny and buying a yacht the next week. Talk about flipping your luck. So here's your homework: check your change jar, dig through the couch cushions, ask grandma if she's hoarding coins in an old cookie tin. Heck, even check under your car seat. You never know where a $1 million penny might be hiding. If you find a 1975 no mint mark penny that looks fresh out of the mint, don't spend it. Get it graded, show it to an expert, and then maybe treat yourself to a solid happy dance in the living room. And hey, if you had fun today, if you learned something new, or if you're about to raid your sock drawer for coins, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends, especially that one guy who always pays in exact change. He might be sitting on a fortune. This is your friendly neighborhood coin nerd signing off. Keep those pennies safe and your eyes sharp. Catch you in the next one, where we'll dig into even more coins worth crazy cash. We're talking about a 1976 D Lincoln penny that's rumored to be worth $6 million. Yes, you heard that right, $6 million with an M. Imagine flipping over your couch cushions looking for spare change and finding a coin that could buy you a mansion, a yacht, and maybe even a pet llama for good measure. If that doesn't make you want to check your piggy bank, I don't know what will. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's dig into the mystery of the 1976 D mint mark Lincoln penny that's shaking up the coin world. Alright, so let's start with the basics. The 1976 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, which is what that little D under the date stands for. Pretty standard, right? Nothing crazy so far, but here's where things get spicy. Not all 1976 D pennies are created equal. One of them has turned out to be what we call a unicorn coin. Basically, it's super rare, has a wild error, and collectors are losing their minds over it. We're talking about a specific error variant of the 1976 D penny. Some experts believe it was struck on a different planchet, possibly a leftover from a foreign coin, or maybe it was a double strike with insane detail. Either way, this thing isn't your average pocket change. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, $6 million for a penny? That's gotta be fake, right? Well, hold on to your socks, because this is where it gets interesting. A verified private sale reportedly went down where this penny changed hands for around $6 million to a collector who just had to have it. That's more than a Bugatti. That's like the price of a really chill private island. Now, let me share a little story here. I once found a 1976 D penny in a junk drawer at my grandma's place. I got so excited thinking I hit the jackpot I whipped out my magnifying glass flashlight, even brought out my cat for emotional support. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $6 million one, but hey, it was shiny, and Grandma gave me cookies, so still a win in my book anyway. What makes this coin valuable isn't just the date or the D-mint mark, it's the combination of the year, the mint mark, and the specific error involved. So if you've got a 1976 D penny, check it closely, and I mean closely like channel your inner detective here. Look for weird weight, off color, odd thickness, or double strikes. If anything looks suspicious, don't toss it. It might just be your retirement fund hiding in plain sight. Oh, and by the way, the reason coins like these become insanely valuable is because of collector demand, rarity, and a little bit of hype. Let's be real, coins have drama too. This penny is basically the Kardashians of copper. So to wrap things up, yes, there's a 1976 D Lincoln penny out there that sold for around $6 million. Does that mean every 1976 D penny is worth that? No, but does it mean it's absolutely worth checking every penny you find? You bet your coin jar it is. If you're into this kind of treasure hunt and want more tips on what coins to look for, how to spot the valuable ones, and how to turn spare change into serious cash, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like if you've ever dug through your car seats looking for change, and drop a comment if you've got any cool coin finds. I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for hanging out, and remember, your next $1,000,000 might just be hiding in your pocket. We're talking $8 million. Yes, you heard that right, million. I know what you're thinking. That's just a rumor, right? Nope. Stick with me and let's break this down. Now, before you go raiding your change jar, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. First things first, the 1978 no mint mark penny isn't your everyday, run-of-the-mill coin. The mint mark, that little letter that tells you where a coin was made, was completely missing on this particular year. That's the first red flag. And if you're anything like me, missing mint marks are like finding a needle in a haystack. But why does this matter? Great question. See, a missing mint mark isn't just a quirky little error. It's a rare mistake. Think of it like finding an Easter egg in a video game, but in this case, the egg's worth $8 million. How'd that happen? Well, this penny made its way through the US Mint without the telltale D or S, which are usually stamped to indicate if it was made in Denver or San Francisco. That left collectors wondering, is this a mistake? Or is it something worth holding onto? Turns out, it's a rare collectible worth some serious cash. Now, before you start digging through your childhood penny collection like I did, don't judge me. I thought my special pennies were rare too. Let's break down how the value of this coin ballooned to $8 million. You see, finding one of these is like finding a unicorn. Sure, some coins get more attention because they're rare, but the 1978 no mint mark penny hit the jackpot. Its rarity, combined with the historical appeal of Lincoln's face staring back at you, made it a must-have for collectors. And when something becomes an essential part of any collection, the price skyrockets. I actually have a little story here. A few years ago, I was at a local flea market. I was walking around, sipping on my overpriced coffee, when I saw an old guy at a table with a box full of pennies. Most were the usual 80s and 90s stuff, but guess what? Right at the bottom of the box was a 1978 penny with no mint mark. I was about to make an offer, but some lady swooped in, dropped $20 for the entire box, and walked away like she just bought the Holy Grail. I bet she didn't know what she had. Now I wonder if that penny's worth a fortune, or at least enough to buy me a fancy coffee at this point. So, if you're lucky enough to find one of these elusive 1978 no mint mark pennies, don't just toss it in your pocket change jar. Get it appraised, and who knows, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But let's be real. Finding one of these isn't like finding a penny on the sidewalk. It's a needle in a haystack situation, and even if you do find one, it might not be in pristine condition, which affects its value. The mint's error might not be worth $8 million if the coin has damage or wear, so keep it in good shape. Alright, so here's the deal. The 1978 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a rare and valuable coin, and if you happen to have one, it could be worth a mind-blowing $8 million. If you're thinking about diving into coin collecting or even just checking your change for some hidden gems, now you know exactly what to look for. Before you go, here's a little nugget of wisdom. While you might not be holding an $8 million penny, there are plenty of coins out there that could be worth more than you think. So, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss future videos where I share tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins that could make you some serious money. Trust me, I'm here to save you from making the same mistake I did at that flea market. Stay tuned, keep collecting, and who knows, You might just be the next person to find $1 million penny. Thanks for watching, and we're talking about the 1980 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and spoiler alert, this thing could be worth a whopping $1 million. That's right, I said a million. Stick with me, and I'll show you why that penny sitting in your jar could be worth way more than you thought. 1. A quick history of the 1980 penny. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1980 penny, pretty much like any other penny, right? Well, sort of. This one was minted in 1980, and the thing is, it doesn't have a mint mark. That's kind of unusual because most pennies from that year will have a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But some just don't. If you find one with no mint mark, that's already raising an eyebrow. You see, back then, there was a little minting mix-up at the Philadelphia Mint, and it's believed that some of the pennies rolled out without the mint mark. Think of it like a factory mishap. Only this one could make you a millionaire. 2. How rare is this penny? Now, let's get into the good stuff. How rare is this coin? Well, believe it or not, very few of these no mint mark 1980 pennies made it into circulation. Most of them are still tucked away somewhere in some dusty old vault. I mean, think about it. How many of us are actually paying attention to the mint mark on our pennies? Not many, right? But collectors? They live for this stuff. A small mistake turned into a big-time treasure. There are rumors that only a few hundred of these pennies are floating around out there. So if you've got one, congratulations. You may just be sitting on a gold mine. 3. The $1 million price tag. Now here's where it gets exciting. The value. You probably saw that $1 million price tag in the title and thought, yeah right buddy, how is a penny worth that much? Well, I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't have some backup. The current market for rare coins, especially error coins like this one, is on fire right now. I'm talking about some of these no mint mark 1980 pennies going for close to $1 million at auction. Imagine that. A penny, a single penny, getting you a cool million. It's like winning the coin lottery. For personal story, okay, real talk, this whole coin collecting thing has kind of become an obsession of mine. One time, I found a coin in my couch cushions, and it turned out to be worth more than I expected. I was just sitting there, watching TV, and I dug through the couch for loose change. I pulled out a coin, thought it was just a regular penny, but it turned out to be a rare one from the 1940s. Now, I didn't sell it for $1 million or anything, but it sure did feel like I had struck gold at that moment. So when I say, you never know what you might have hidden in that old change jar or stuck between the couch cushions, trust me, I speak from experience. 5. How to identify it and what to do next. So, let's say you do find one of these 1980 no mint mark pennies. What should you look for? First, check the coin for any distinguishing characteristics. The absence of the mint mark is a huge red flag. A good red flag. If you think you've got one, your best bet is to get it graded by a professional coin grading service, like the PCGS or NGC. They'll verify its authenticity, and once that's done, you can start looking for a buyer. But remember, just because it's a 1980 penny without a mint mark, doesn't mean it's automatically worth $1 million. There are some conditions and factors that can affect its value, so make sure you get it properly checked out. Alright, coin enthusiasts, here's the bottom line. Keep your eyes peeled for those 1980 no mint mark pennies. They might not look like much, but with their rarity, they could end up being worth a small fortune. And if you find one, well, hey, you're basically the proud owner of a millionaire's penny. Keep your change game strong, and remember, sometimes the most unexpected treasures are just sitting in your pocket, waiting to be discovered. Now, if you loved learning about the crazy world of rare coins and want more tips, tricks, and insider secrets on coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more of these mind-blowing coin finds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where we talk about the next big coin that could make you a fortune. I'm going to tell you about one of the most mind-blowing pennies you might have, the 1981 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Spoiler alert, this little guy could be worth up to $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1 million. You better check your couch cushions after this. So, let's get into it. Grab your magnifying glass and let's see if your pocket change is hiding a treasure. Alright, first things first, let's talk about what makes this penny so special. The 1981 no-mint mark penny is part of a super rare group of coins. In case you didn't know, coins in the US typically have a mint mark showing where they were made, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1981, a small batch of pennies didn't have a mint mark at all. These are the coins we're talking about today. Most of them are just, well, normal pennies. Nothing to write home about. But here's the kicker. There's a rare error among them. A tiny handful of 1981 pennies were produced without the mint mark and had an error during the minting process that makes them incredibly valuable. The reason they're worth so much? Well, they're part of a super rare group of coins, and collectors are going crazy for them. It's like finding a rare baseball card in a stack of old magazines. Now, let's break down how you might actually stumble upon one of these bad boys. You're probably wondering, how in the world do I know if I've got one? Honestly, it's simple but takes a bit of patience. The 1981 no-mint mark penny is going to look like any other regular 1981 penny, unless you notice the mint mark isn't there, which, if you're looking for it, is the big giveaway. Look at the date. It should clearly say 1981, and there should be no mint mark next to it. Check the condition. These pennies, especially in mint condition, the kind that looks like it just came out of the factory, can demand top dollar. But here's the twist. It's not like every 1981 penny is worth a fortune. No, like I said, these rare no-mint mark pennies are the ones that have something extra. It's a minting error that only happened a handful of times, and that's why collectors are scrambling to find them. So how do you know if you've got one? You'll need to really examine the coin under good light. A lot of the time, we just toss these coins aside without a second thought. But after hearing this, you'll start giving your pennies a lot more attention. Now, this isn't something you're going to find every day. In fact, they're harder to come by than an honest person in a reality TV show. But hey, they do pop up from time to time, so don't just throw away any 1981 pennies you come across. Speaking of finding rare coins, I remember when I first got into coin collecting. I was going through my grandma's change jar, the one that's been collecting dust in the corner for decades. I was sure there was nothing valuable in there, but I decided to give it a shot. I found a couple of old coins, one from the 1940s and another from the 1960s. I got so excited I ran to my local coin shop, thinking I was about to walk away with a fortune, only to find out they were worth like 30 cents each. But hey, I learned the hard way that you've got to know what you're looking for, and it got me hooked on the hunt for rare coins. And now it's your turn. Keep your eyes peeled. That 1981 penny? It could be the next jackpot you've been waiting for. So, to recap, the 1981 no-mint mark penny is one of those hidden treasures that can make your day, or even your year, if you find one. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's the kind of find that makes you do a double take when you realize it could be worth up to $1 million. If you've got one of these rare coins in your collection, congratulations. You're sitting on a small fortune. If not, hey, don't give up. The hunt is half the fun, right? And before you head off to search your change jar, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and like this video. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins worth money. Whether it's pennies, quarters, or rare mint errors, I'll keep you updated on how to make that coin collection work for you. We're talking a mind-blowing $5 million. Yes, you heard me right. That tiny little coin could be worth more than most people's entire house. Stick around because today we're diving into why the specific penny is worth so much, how you can tell if you've got one, and what makes it so special. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1985 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You're probably thinking, wait a minute, wasn't 1985 just like yesterday? Okay, maybe not, but it sure feels like it. Anyway, here's the deal. Most of the time, a regular 1985 penny doesn't get anyone excited. It's not like one of those cool error coins where you see a weird minting mistake and think, aha, this is worth a ton. But this particular penny, well, it's not your average Joe. You see, there are certain rare coins out there that are extremely valuable, and sometimes they're not even that obvious at first glance. The 1985 no-mint mark penny is one of those, and if you happen to have one, let's just say it's like finding the golden ticket in a Willy Wonka chocolate bar. Now, why is this penny worth so much? Well, there's no mint mark, which is a pretty big deal. Normally, you'd expect to see a D or an S on the penny to show where it was made. Denver or San Francisco, respectively. But in 1985, some pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint and didn't have a mint mark. There was something about the production process that led to an odd number of these coins slipping through the cracks. They're basically a coin collector's dream because they're so incredibly rare. And when something's rare, the price goes through the roof. Here's the kicker. While most 1985 pennies are just chilling in your pocket, the no-mint mark ones are part of a very small batch, and that rarity is why they're so valuable. In fact, some have been sold for $5 million in auctions. It's mind-blowing, right? You might be thinking, I've got a penny from 1985. Is it one of these? Well, we're getting to that. First, let's talk about how you can tell if you've got the golden goose. The first thing you want to do is check the date and the absence of the mint mark. If your penny is from 1985 and there's no D or no S on it, you might have yourself a jackpot. But here's the thing. These rare coins have to be in pristine condition. We're talking about pennies that look almost brand new, without any wear and tear. The condition matters just as much as the rarity. It's like that time I tried to sell an old baseball card I found in my attic. It had been in a shoebox for 20 years, so it wasn't exactly worth a fortune. But if yours is in perfect shape, congratulations, you've got something worth a ton of money. And speaking of my own discovery, I'll tell you this. I once thought I found a rare coin when I was 10 years old. I had this old dime that I swore was a key date coin. I thought it was my ticket to the big leagues. But after years of searching, I finally found out it wasn't worth anything more than its face value. Talk about a disappointment. So, when I tell you that a 1985 no-mint mark penny is worth $5 million, I'm not kidding around. But it's not like you can just go around looking for these coins in the wild. You've got to have an eye for the rare stuff. So what's the takeaway here? Keep an eye on your change. Folks, you never know when a penny from 1985 could be hiding among your other loose coins. And if you've got one, check for that no-mint mark because who knows? You might just be sitting on a $5 million fortune. Before you run off to search your pockets and drawers for that lucky penny, here's a quick tip. Make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss another coin tip, trick, or strategy. I'll be sharing more stories, fun facts, and insider info on what coins could be hiding big value, just like the 1985 no-mint mark penny. Subscribe right now. Don't miss out on these game-changing coin finds. Catch you in the next one. Happy hunting, and remember, sometimes it's the smallest coins that bring the biggest rewards. We're talking about a regular old 1987 Lincoln penny that might just be worth $7 million. Yes, $7 million, no mint mark, no fancy gold plating, just your average coppery coin hanging out in your junk drawer and secretly holding the keys to early retirement before you go flipping your couch cushions inside out. Stay with me because I'm breaking down why this penny is such a big deal and how you might just have one too. Alright, so let's talk about this mystery millionaire penny, the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny was struck in Philadelphia, which is why it doesn't have a little letter under the date. Now, normally these pennies aren't rare. You can still find them in change even today, but here's the twist. There's one in circulation right now that collectors believe is worth up to $7 million because of a crazy rare error. We're talking about a double die obverse, which basically means the coin got smacked twice by the die during production that made Abe Lincoln look like he was vibrating through time and space. His nose gets fuzzy, his letters are doubled, and his whole face is like the ghost of presidents past. Now this error is super rare, and the ones with a strong double die are the real jackpot. We're not talking about a little smudge, either we're talking crisp clear doubling, especially in the words liberty and in God we trust, and Abe's eye looking like he's got a twin. And now for the juicy part, this exact penny was recently appraised and verified by a top grading company, and is rumored to have been offered to a private buyer for $7 million. Let me repeat that, $7 million. That's like if your piggy bank had its own real estate portfolio. Now look, I know what you're thinking, this sounds too good to be true, so let me tell you a little story. A couple years ago, I was sorting through some old change because I was broke and avoiding adult responsibilities, as one does. I found this grimy penny that looked kind of off, like Abe Lincoln was having a bad day. I didn't think much of it, but out of boredom I Googled it and ended up on this deep rabbit hole of rare coin forums and YouTube channels. Turns out it wasn't anything special, but that night changed everything because now here I am obsessed with coins and helping people like you maybe strike it rich with something sitting in your pocket. Wild, right? So what do you do if you think you have one of these magical 1987 no mint mark pennies? First, don't spend it on a candy bar. Second, grab a magnifying glass or your phone camera and look for doubling, especially in the words Liberty and In God We Trust. Also check Abe's face. If it looks a little blurry or doubled, you might have something special. And finally, if it looks promising, send it in to be graded by a reputable service like PCGS or Enk. They'll tell you if it's the real deal and help you get it listed for serious collector cash. So there you have it, folks, the humble 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, usually just a penny, but in rare cases worth more than some houses. Coins like this are hiding everywhere, in pockets and jars, in old birthday cards from grandma. So take a second to check your change, because you never know what you might find. And hey, if you love this kind of treasure hunt and want more tips on which coins are secretly worth big bucks, hit that subscribe button like right now. Seriously, do it, unless you hate money. I'll be back with more coin hacks, collecting tips, and probably a few more bad jokes. Thanks for watching, and remember, not all treasure is buried. Some of it is jingling in your pockets right now. We're diving into a humble little coin that could be worth up to $8 million bucks. Yeah, you heard me right, $8 million for a single 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. That's like turning spare change into a small island in the Caribbean. So if you've got a jar full of old coins or a habit of hoarding pennies like me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Alright, so what's the big deal with this 1988 no mint mark penny? Why would anyone pay millions for something that's literally worth 1 cent? Let's break it down. Back in 1988, the US Mint was cranking out Lincoln cents at a crazy pace, but sometimes even the best machines and quality checks let things slip through the cracks. Now, here's the kicker. In 1988, the Philadelphia Mint didn't usually stamp their coins with a mint mark that's normal, so a penny without a mint mark from Philly? No biggie, right? There's a specific 1988 penny that's missing more than just a mint mark. It's got something special going on behind the scenes. We're talking about the rare 1988 transitional error, where the coin was struck using a die from a different year, specifically one meant for 1989. So this penny looks like your everyday coin, but under a microscope it has the wrong FG initials on the reverse, or they're placed differently. This kind of mistake is super rare and collectors lose their minds over it. We're talking about a perfect storm of rarity, condition, historical value, and just plain weirdness. Now add to that a flawless or near flawless condition, maybe graded MS68 or higher, and boom, you've got a penny that's selling for millions. There's even buzz going around right now about a recent private sale of a perfect 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny fetching up to $8 million. That's not a typo, 8 million. Oh nan, just so we're clear, that's more than the average price of a mansion in Beverly Hills for a coin you might have chilling in your change drawer next to an old gum wrapper and a paper clip. Now here's where it gets personal. So true story. I once had a habit of tossing all my pennies in this big old glass jug. I never counted them, never rolled them up, just let them sit there gathering dust for like 10 years. Then one day I got curious. I dumped them all out on the floor, turned on some lo-fi music, and started sorting through them one by one. I felt like a pirate sifting through gold, and guess what I found? No, I didn't find the $8 million penny, but I did find a 1972 double-die Lincoln cent that ended up being worth a few hundred bucks. Not exactly yacht money, but hey, it paid for a weekend road trip and a really good pizza. The point is, you never know what's hiding in your spare change. That jug of pennies could be your retirement plan. Alright, coin crew, if you've got any 1988 pennies lying around, it's time to bust out the magnifying glass and give them a serious look. You might just be sitting on a tiny copper gold mine. And if you liked this video, if it made you laugh, think, or even made you spill your coffee in excitement, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're dropping more videos on coins worth big money, how to find them, and how to tell the difference between common and rare ones. Don't miss out on turning your pocket change into profit. You could be one coin away from financial freedom, or at least a really epic sandwich. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay coin crazy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. We're diving into the 1993 D mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and why one of these babies could have you living that retired beach life way ahead of schedule. So grab your coin jars, your magnifying glasses, and maybe even your grandma's purse, because we're about to go treasure hunting. Let's go. 1. What makes the 1993 D penny so special? Alright, so first things first, what's the deal with this particular penny? Well, the 1993 D penny was minted in Denver. No surprise there, right? That's what the D stands for. But what makes it insane is a very specific error and a whole lot of rarity. We're talking about a coin that slipped past the quality check like a ninja. It's got either a double die, a misstrike, or it's struck on a rare planchet from another denomination or year. That's what makes it different. And when coins like that survive the minting process, they don't just become rare, they become legends too. But wait, a $3 million penny sounds crazy. I know $3 million bucks for a penny sounds like something your cousin Larry made up after 2 Red Bulls, but nope, this coin actually hit the collector's market recently. And because of its unique features and its pristine condition, it was valued and sold at a whopping $3 million. It was graded MS67, which in coin world terms means mint state, aka this coin is so fresh it probably still thinks it's 19933. How I almost threw away a small fortune. Okay, story time, because you need to know how real this can get. So a while ago, I'm helping my aunt clean out Her attic right, we're talking old VHS tapes, tax papers from the 80s, and about 7 pairs of socks with no matches. Then I find this jar full of pennies. I was just about to dump them in a Coinstar machine when something told me, wait, take a closer look, and boom, there it was, a shiny 1993 penny. Now, unfortunately mine wasn't the magic one, it was worth like 2 cents, but still that moment taught me something: always check your change, you never know, and since then I've been hooked for what to look for in your 1993 penny. Now if you're thinking, okay, but how do I know if mine's the jackpot? Here's what to keep an eye out for. Look for doubling, especially around the date, the word liberty, and I in God we trust. Check the edge and the weight too. If it feels off or looks different, that's a clue. And if you've got a coin that looks suspiciously perfect, send it in to get graded. Don't just toss it back into circulation, or worse, let your cat bat it under the fridge. 5. Why these coins are worth so much. So why do collectors lose their minds over this? Simple: rarity plus condition plus demand equals value. Coin collectors are like Pokemon trainers, gotta catch 'em all, and when a unique penny shows up, especially with a known mint error or a once-in-a-generation mistake, they go all in. Add to that the fact that most pennies from the 90s got used, abused, and tossed around for decades. Finding one in near-perfect shape is like finding an unopened Game Boy in your closet. Alright, let's bring it home. If you've got a jar of pennies lying around, or if you've been ignoring that change in your car cup holder, you might want to start looking a little closer. The 1993 Lincoln penny could be your golden ticket to early retirement, or at least a really epic vacation. And hey, even if you don't find the $1,000,000 coin, you'll have fun treasure hunting and maybe even learn a thing or two about coins along the way. So if you like stories like this and want more tips on coins that are actually worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop a comment if you've ever found a weird or valuable coin. I'd love to hear your story. We're talking about a 2006 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's apparently worth a jaw-dropping $6 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $6 million. So if you've got some change lying around, or you've been hoarding coins in a jar since 2006, it's time to play treasure hunter. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you why this one little penny is causing such a big fuss, how to know if you've got one, and what you should be looking for when you dig through your couch cushions. Alright, so let's talk about this penny. 2006 was the year gas was like $3. People were still using flip phones, and I was trying to grow a goatee and failing miserably. Now, in the middle of all that, the Denver Mint cranked out a bunch of Lincoln pennies with the Mint mark. Nothing unusual there. But here's where it gets juicy. Some rare errors and unique strikes made it into circulation, and collectors are going bananas over them. There's one in particular that's got a super clean double die error on Lincoln's face and lettering. I mean, Abe's beard is doing a full-on 3D effect. Combine that with a perfect condition mint state, and bam, someone shelled out $6 million for it at auction. $6 million for a penny, y'all. I can't even get a decent slice of pizza for $1 anymore, and someone out here just turned 1 cent into a full-on mansion. Now, I know what you're thinking: how do I know if I've got this magical moneymaker? Here's what you wanna do. First, look for the D right under the year. That's the Denver Mint mark. Then grab a magnifying glass, or just zoom in with your phone camera. You're looking for anything that looks off. Double lettering on I in God we trust, or liberty, or the date is a huge clue. Check Lincoln's face too, especially around the eyes and beard. If it looks like he's got a shadow clone, or like you're seeing double, you might be onto something. Also, the coin's condition matters a lot. If it looks like it went through a blender, sorry, but it's probably not gonna pay off your student loans. But if it's super shiny, barely any scratches, full details, you might be holding a mini jackpot. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Couple years ago, I was cleaning out my car, which honestly looked like a snack graveyard, and I found this crusty penny wedged between the seat and center console. Almost threw it away, but for laughs, I decided to check it out under a light, and guess what? It was nothing special, but the suspense was real. I even called my friend, mid-panic, thinking I had just found early retirement. Moral of the story: don't skip your pennies, people. Check them, you never know. So next time you get a penny and change, don't just toss it in the nearest fountain for good luck. Give it a second look, especially if it's from 2006 and has that little D under the year, because one tiny detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and $6 million. If you found this fun helpful, or now you're going to be the weird person asking for pennies at the checkout line, hit that subscribe button. I am dropping more tips, tricks, and coin strategies to help you turn pocket change into serious cash. And hey, even if you don't strike it rich, it's still kind of fun, right?